What's up, everyone? It's your girl, Brain Shanae, and today I'm here to share with you my March wrap-up. March was very tough mentally for me. I felt like I didn't read enough, but when I share with you what I've read in March, you're gonna be like, girl, you was killing it. But in my head, I'm like, no, I wasn't. But technically I did kill it. Like I said, March mentally was very rough and just tough, to the point where there were still some books that I just did not get to that is going to pretty much push forward to towards April. But anyways, I still want to share with you all the great books and manga that I read. Now, did I read a lot of manga in March? Yes, I did. I needed those palate cleansers, and I felt like I needed a quick read, because I feel like all the other books with a lot of like political intrigue and stuff like that, it was just a little bit too heavy for me at the moment. So I was reading a lot of manga. So for the first manga that I read was Marriage Toxin. This is volume 5. I really have been enjoying Marriage Toxin. This is a new manga that was just released last year, and I really am enjoying it. This is about a man who there's different clans, and he is like the master of toxins or whatever in his particular clan, like the top tier one, and they're also known as assassins or whatever. But out of all of that, his sister, she wants to live her life, and she also wants to marry the woman she loves. But in order to pretty much help with the family, she has to marry whoever her family decides. So her brother is taking it upon himself to step up and marry someone. That way his sister can be with the person that she wants to be with, and not someone that her family is telling her who to marry and who she needs to marry in order to make such and such thing to happen or whatever for their family. And he's like, okay, I don't want my sister to go through that sacrifice, so let me step up. And so he has this woman who is helping him find the perfect woman that would be best for him. And so they're going, as he's going through these cases still of these assassinations and stuff like that, he's also trying to figure out the person that he wants to marry. And so there's an expert who is helping him along the way regarding marriage and dating. So with Marriage Toxin Volume 5, I gave it a 2.5 because it was really, a lot was happening, but at the same time it was not, if that makes sense. Like, it was very slow paced. I think there could have been some things better. So I gave it a 2.5. The next one is a picture book that I read to my children, and that is Go Tell It, How James Baldwin Became a Writer. This is by Cortez Harris. Of course, I gave this a 5-star because I truly enjoyed every moment of this book. It was really cute, especially getting to know more about James Baldwin and sharing to my kids who James Baldwin was. So yeah, my kids mostly chose the rating, of course, but we were all in agreement. It was 5 stars. The next manga is The Apothecary Diaries, Volume 13. I am a huge fan of The Apothecary Diaries manga and the anime, which is currently has the second season started earlier this year in January. And Jinshi and Mao Mao, things are really starting to take off with their relationship, if you want to call it. And anything regarding The Apothecary Diaries, I'm here for. Getting to know more about Mao Mao, getting to know more about Jinshi, which we already know about Jinshi pretty much. It has now been released of who his true identity is, but we all knew what his true identity was to begin with. But it gave us a little clue. And it's more than just romance. It has a lot to do with more mystery than anything, about people being poisoned, people being killed, and all that stuff. So I really enjoy The Apothecary Diaries. And so for this 13th volume, I gave it a 5-star. So freaking good. And then you also see the development between Jinshi and Mao Mao. The next manga that I started reading in February, and so I started reading more of them in March, and that is Insomniac After School Volume 3. I gave it 5 stars, loved it so much, and then I end up reading volumes 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8 of the Insomniac After School. For Volume 4, I gave 4 stars. For Volume 5, I gave it a 3-star. Volume 6, a 4-star. And then Volume 7, a 3-star. And then Volume 8, a 4-star. I really am enjoying this series more than I thought I would. I learned about them a while ago when the first manga was released, but I just didn't pay any attention to it. And I saw it at my local library. We had all 7 volumes. So I'm like, why not? Let me go ahead and indulge in all this. So once I read the first volume, I was completely hooked. I love the premise, and then I also love the relationship that and the bond that the 2 main characters are starting to have. It's really cute. I know there's also an anime as well. So who knows, I might jump into that too after I finish all the other anime that I've started and need to finish, and some that I just need to binge. But Insomniacs After School is so cute. It's I'm in love with it. And I know that the 9th volume was just released, so I'm hoping to get that through my local library, and I know volume 10 is already in the works of coming out this year. So definitely going to be putting a hold on them at my local library for sure. The next book that is by Farrah Rashan is Bemused. This is pretty much talking about the muses from Hercules and the story between when it came to the muses in the first place and how they became who they are, you know? And I think Farrah Rashan did a fantastic job regarding this story. It was beautiful. It made me feel like a kid again, and just getting to know more about the muses and the goddesses of the fine arts and whatnot. Like, I am here for it. Like, I am truly here for it. So amazing. So if you haven't read anything by Farrah Rashan, I highly recommend that you do. She also has written a lot of romances, and she's also done a lot of the Disney twisted stories as well. But Bemused, so freaking good. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5. And I loved every single moment of it. It brought me back to my childhood memories of watching Hercules, the movie, when I was a kid. So yeah, 3.5 for that one. The next one that truly surprised me, but got me out of my reading slump, like my true reading slump, and that is Mbessa, Chosen of the Wolf. This is the League of Legends Arcane. This is by C.L. Clark. And don't come for me, but I have not watched Arcane at all whatsoever. But after reading this, I sort of want to, because this is Mbessa is pretty much in Arcane. But I have not I have not read, and I have not watched Arcane. But just reading Mbessa makes me want to read Arcane, or read and watch Arcane, just to see who she was as a person before she's, because her story that takes place with Mbessa, Chosen of the Wolf. And within this story, we are featuring Mbessa and her daughter and her husband and everything, what have you. And it really goes down to the relationship between Mbessa and her daughter, and how Mbessa feels like her daughter is not equipped to take over the family, like the family and the clan, and to pursue leadership. And we get to know more about Mbessa and how she's not have that loving type of, how some mothers are construed to be lovable. They want to hug on you and stuff like that. That was not Mbessa. She was mostly like, we need to take care of business. You need to provide. You need to look out for people. I'm not here for the emotional support. That is not me. That is your dad. And I think Mbessa is starting to figure out about herself. Like, she is just not like that. She is not that type of person where she could just she'll hug you or she'll ask for a hug. She's very she's very straightforward to what she wants and what she expects from you, and she just feels like her daughter just did not cut it. And I think she also didn't give her daughter a chance to prove herself either. But this was a really great book. Highly recommend it. C.L. Clark's writing is phenomenal. Love it. So definitely, I gave it a 4.5. Loved it so freaking much. I'm definitely going to be reading more by C.L. Clark really soon. The next book is a picture book that I read to my kids. It's I Too Am Here. This is by Morgan Christie. My kids and I agreed that this was a 5-star. The next book, also a picture book, which was really amazing and really cute, of like two brothers coming together trying to figure out what was going on, how come their parents stayed home during date night, but apparently their date night was at home and stuff like that. They were listening to music with their headphones on, dancing with each other, and the sons were trying to figure out what's going on, mom and dad, how come they didn't go out for date night? This is not normal. But it was just really cute. And that is At Night They Dance. This is by Victoria Scott Miller. I even gave it a 5-star. I didn't even ask my kids. I was like, it's a 5-star. And then once I read it to them, they're like, oh my gosh, reminds me of you and daddy. And I'm like, okay, I love that. And so they gave it a 5-star as well. The next book, which this is my first book that I've read by him, and I'm really excited to read the next book in this new series that he has written, and that is Grave Empire. This is the first book in the Great Silence series by Richard Swan. I gave this a 4-star. Think of pirates, think of zombies, think of wolfmen, think of mermen, think of mermen and having their companions as sharks and whatnot. Like, this book was absolutely amazing. It did start out a little bit slow, but then again, this is like a spinoff from his other series that he had done, like from the Justice of Kings. So it's like within that same world. So I probably am going to go back and read the Justice of Kings. I'll probably just borrow it from my local library for all 3 of those books. But I truly enjoyed Grave Empires, and I even picked this book as part of my Patreon picked this as my book club pick for my patrons, and I truly had a great time with it. And like I said, this is my first book that I've read by Richard Swan, and it was actually really good. Like, really freaking good. So really excited to read this, and I cannot wait to read more by him. The next book, which was a fast read, it was a thriller, and it had me on my feet, and that is Chloe. It's a novel of secrets and lies by Connie Briscoe. I gave it a 4-star. This is definitely a fiction thriller about this main girl who is a private chef, who she cooks for this family on Martha's Vineyard, and she meets this guy who's like a billionaire. And then they end up falling in love. She ends up finding out about his ex-wife and how apparently she had killed herself and whatnot. And so they were have like this emotional connection, you know. And so as she married him, that's when things started to take off, and she started to realize that his sister was acting weird, and that his late wife, they still had her room, had all of her stuff still in it. And mind you, she's been gone for his ex-wife, or his late wife has been gone for a year, and she's just trying to figure out what is going on. How come I can't step into this room? How come I can't do anything with this house? I know that you loved your wife or whatever, but this is now my home. I need to make it as my own, and not have something that your late wife had done, and you just don't want me to do anything. Bring some light up in here. And so eventually the truth does come out, and I'm like, okay. I sort of saw that coming, but I wasn't necessarily sure. I was like, it's either her or either him. It was like, okay, I see it. But it was a really great book. It was fast paced. I gave it a 4-star. Really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. The next book, I just wanted to read this. I had it on Libby. So that is The Six Scorched Roses. This is a standalone or novella from the Crowns of Noxia by Carissa Broadbent. I gave it a 3.25 star on Storygraph. And it was pretty good. Pretty much a human fall in love with an old vampire. It was fast paced. It's a novella, so it was like 200 pages max. So it was a fast read. I really enjoyed it. Anything with vampires, I'm all in. Then the next book I read, A Bird in the Air Means We Can Still Breathe. This is by Mahogany L. Brown. This is her newest book, written in verse, which it's 160 pages. I gave it a 4-star. This is about a book pretty much featuring during the time of the pandemic and protesting, and how, especially this is a YA book, so this is also featuring kids and how they can't be part of any programs. They can't be part of any sports. They were all excited about being part of this basketball team and going to these competitions, and come to find out they can't do that because of the pandemic and everything that is happening and occurring, and their lives are not normal. And so this made me go back to how I was feeling in 2020 when the pandemic, technically the pandemic started in 2019, but nothing really was going down until 2020. And it just brought me back those memories of how like fucked up everything was, and how technically how it still is. And it just made me wonder about the kids and how they were feeling of, you know, not being able to go to school and socialize with their friends. It was like there was no normalcy whatsoever. And so I really enjoyed this book. I actually want a copy of it. That's how bad that I love this book. It was short, but it was so powerful and impactful, and it had me think about a lot of things, and things that are still like occurring to this day, you know. So I really do want a copy of this, but I gave it a 4-star, and so freaking good. Highly recommend that you read it. Next book, which I did a book review for, which I'll leave up above, and that is Sunrise on the Reaping. This is part of the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins. Of course, I gave it a 5-star. This is featuring Haymitch, and shit just goes down, and this book had me in utter tears. That's all I'm gonna say. You're gonna have to watch my review after this video. The next book is a manga. This is volume 6 of The 7th Time Loop. The villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy. And once again, this is volume 6. Really enjoyed this volume. This is also part of the anime that I've also watched. It's on Crunchyroll currently right now. And I absolutely enjoy romance. A villainess, and this prince who is considered a devious villain and just mean, but technically he's not. It's just he's misinterpreted, he's misunderstood, and Rish seems to get him. And I just absolutely love this so much. I hope that Crunchyroll, there's an announcement hopefully sometimes close to the end of this year of a season 2, because I really want to know what's happening next. And I mean, the volume 6 is the latest one in the manga form. There are light novels, but I'm not a light novel girl. I'm a manga girl. Manga, I'm like, yeah, but I am not a light novel girl. I can't get into the light novels. But with this manga, I gave it a 4-star, and I truly enjoyed every single moment of it. The next book, which I know Adrian will be so proud of me, Adrian, Sister Harlem from Sister Harlem's Library, finally read The Oath by T.M. Richardson. This is the first book in the Secret series, and I really enjoyed this book. It made me think about, I don't know if I could ever do that. I would have to let loose. I would have to just not be me and try to just go with the flow. But this book, it made me think about a lot of things regarding relationships and marriages, and who you trust, and who's all in your circle, and who truly cares for you, and who truly has your back 100%. And so I gave it a 4-star. Really enjoyed The Oath. I'm looking forward to reading the second book in the series, which I'm probably going to end up using one of my credits on Audible so I can finally read the second one. And I know the third one is going to eventually be coming out soon too, so I got to catch up. But once again, I gave The Oath 4-star. And then the last and final book that I read for March, which I really enjoyed. I wasn't a huge fan of her first series so much, but this particular book, I was here for it. It definitely gave me some Ruby Dixon type of vibes. Because if you read Ice Planet Barbarians, this particular book gave me those vibes, but even better, and so I'm like, man, this was so freaking good. And so the book that I'm talking about, which I gave a 5-star, by the way, 5-star, is I Got Abducted, by aliens, and now I'm trapped in a rom-com. This is the first book in the Cosmic Chaos series, apparently, so this is a new series. This is by Kimberly Lemming. This book had me all in my feelings. When I was reading this book, my husband was like, what's wrong with you? Because I would be like, oh my gosh, yes. And he was like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, nothing, just stay over there. And when I tell you I enjoyed this book, I truly enjoyed this book. There was not one single moment of where I felt like it was dull and it was just nothing was happening. Everything was fast paced. I don't want to say much about it because I really just want y'all to pick it up and see for yourselves. But overall, like I said, it was a 5-star, and I absolutely loved it. But anywho, that is it. That is my March wrap up. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please, please, please give me a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell to be notified when I upload more videos in the future. But once again, thank you all so, so much for watching, and I hope you are staying healthy and staying safe, and I will catch y'all next time. Bye, everyone.